It's E3 week, everyone, and we've come to planet Earth's epicenter of blockbuster entertainment to bring you all the hot gossip on the titles vying to be this year's gaming Oscar winners. But before that, EA had its own gaming bash down the road, so we could check out the games we'll be playing this Christmas and beyond. And contrary to popular belief, they don't all end in 08. So without further ado, let's check out the state of the arts.
Welcome to Hollywood Eurogamers. Who loves you, baby? Or who's your daddy now?
Reputations are built and destroyed on the fame-hungry streets of Hollywood. One moment you can be on top of the world, only to have it all snatched away from you in the blink of a Jedi. Just ask Master Yoda. Spare some change, can you? And as for James the cameraman, well, his reputation always precedes him.
Run! Run!
But with 20 years in the spotlight, one entertainment family continues to defy the laws of celebrity, with 2007 set to be another vintage year for The Simpsons. It's taken 400 episodes of the TV show for Matt Groening to allow his creations to make the transition onto the big screen.
Who's a good pig?
But that's not the only major Simpsons release of the year, oh no. And EA has its sights set on a global Christmas #1 with a brand new adventure in Springfield just for the small screen.
The Simpsons writers, of course, have always wanted to do a proper Simpsons game, and so the concept kind of came from there. And then once we sat down to develop the pre-production process of the game, what we wanted to be, the characters, how they would interact with each other, that's when the whole wealth of discovery as far as the kind of abilities that they would use, thinking of ideas of how we could use Lisa, Bart, Homer, and Marge appropriately in the context of, the pitch of what the game should be. Creating parody is creativity, in my opinion. So for us to say we are doing something that's really vastly original, I do believe it is. What would they do if they knew that they had video game powers? So Bart decides to become Bartman. Lisa, of course, Lisa is an environmentalist. What would she do if she had the ability to make things better? Of course, she's Eastern philosophy. She's a Buddhist, so we create, we kind of have a little fun moment, of course, with the hand of Buddha. Not sure the ramifications yet, but we enjoy it. We think it's pretty funny. Marge has the ability to gather mobs by nagging them. We feel that that's a really funny and appropriate mechanic for her. And of course, Homer would want to have the ability to eat everything in sight. So we have all the original cast members doing all the voices. The script is written by the writers. It's absolutely hilarious, and we're really, as the dialogue is coming in, I'm still laughing at it, and I've been working on it for a year and a half.
The Simpsons game will be cashing in on all major formats rather conveniently just in time for Christmas.
These days.
One game whose bulging gaming biceps we've been aching to cop a feel of is Army of Two. And having feasted our eyes upon its throbbing pecs, it's one the Gears of War fans among you in particular will want to grapple with yourselves. While it lacks the visual finesse of Epic's chisel-jawed Xbox brute, it brings several new tricks to the third-person action party. The concept of aggro is one. In combat, the aggressor of the pair glows red with aggro, drawing the attention of the enemy. This frees up the other fighter to move stealthily on his foe without being spotted. Another is one we've arbitrarily decided is our favourite feature of the year. Introducing Tampon Team Play. Yes, we're told that any good mercenary worth his salt wouldn't be caught dead in the field without a packet of Tampax stuffed in his back pocket. No, this isn't some twisted soldier fetish. Tampons are shoved into wounds to soak up the blood, obviously. This plays out as a mini-game where the right button combination sees you plugging your buddy's fleshy hole. Shame there's no Wii version. Anyway, in Army of Two, fans of Gears of War co-op could have a tasty alternative on 360 and PS3 come this Christmas. We'll be perfecting our tampon technique in the meantime. US super dev Valve is partnering with EA for the release of the Orange Box, a package of stupefying promise boasting Half-Life 2, Episodes 1 and 2, Portal and Team Fortress 2 bundled together in a display of strength that virtually laughs in the face of its quaking rivals.
we looked at what was happening at the studio, and episode 2 was in production, was already planned to be a bit longer, so that was kind of covered. Team Fortress 2 was looking like it was going to finish around the same time, and Portal, that team came to Valve from DigiPen as a whole team. So Portal sort of got injected into the system as well. And looking at these 3 games sort of heading out at the same time that sort of mapped to the feedback that we got from episode 1, it was kind of a no-brainer from our position. You know, it's much clearer than when we were doing Half-Life 2, for example, and we were on this 6-year journey, and there were just days when you thought, like, you know, are we ever going to finish this thing? Is it ever going to be good enough to ship? And, you know, with this model, you're sort of moving more quickly. You can see that light at the tunnel, and that momentum is always sort of present throughout the project rather than just at the last half or the last third of it. So we'll see after we complete this trilogy of episodes, you know, what worked. I mean, we may learn something from episode 2 that causes us to do something differently with episode 3, and then once we finish the trilogy, we may realize, hey, wait, there's yet a whole nother approach that we haven't thought of yet that's going to be even better. So it's really to be determined, but we're committed to finishing these 3 episodes sort of in the fashion that we're progressing right now.
As well as a package of PC delight, Orange Box also marks Valve's debut on next-gen consoles.
With these next-gen systems where we are in the life cycle right now, we don't have any compromises whatsoever. We're running episode 2 here today on the 360, and it looks brilliant, and it's running at a great frame rate. So that's what's really the most exciting about that, is to be able to deliver our games to different audiences via those consoles, those platforms, and to deliver the same experience to them and not a compromised or an experience that you have to make an excuse for because of the hardware. I sort of have my own hunches that Portal may really take off and could even perhaps one day be a console-only, you know, game. At least, you know, in the idea space, you could sort of see how that might work out. So I think we're making steps to become more platform agnostic, but our roots in the PC are so deep that I don't think we've, you know, jumped that far away from stuff.
Given the astonishing success of The Sims, it's easy to forget that there'd be no such thing as a sim if Will Wright hadn't bashed out Sim City. Societies is the latest evolution of the stalwart city builder. There's no direct involvement from Wright, who's far too busy off doing clever stuff we don't really understand with Spore, but EA's tour guide gave us a good idea of what to expect.
Hi, Eurogamer. My name is Rachel Bernstein. I'm the lead producer for SimCity Societies for EA. And what we wanted to do with this game was make sure that we give players a really new, innovative experience. We wanted to get back to the roots of the SimCity series and having a game that was easy to pick up and start playing. But we also want to make sure that the game is still deep and still provides a challenge to master the game. Once you learn the 3 basic building blocks of home, workplaces, and venues, everything from there is sort of complexity layering on top of that of how you combine those buildings. We have knowledge, obedience, devotion, creativity, wealth, and industry. Every building in the game produces or consumes some of these societal energies. In previous SimCity games, you were always trying to be the mayor of a happy population, and trying to keep them happy was one of your goals. That can still be a successful way to play the game, and you can make a modern metropolis playing it that way. But you can also decide that happiness is not your goal and that you want to be more of maybe a robber baron kind of a ruler. I'm not trying to be a happy, popular mayor. I'm really being Big Brother here. I'm being productive, but I'm being kind of evil. And it's actually really fun. I think us city builders are tired of always being nice, and sometimes we want to be authoritarian.
The quirkiest title on show was undoubtedly Boogie, a bizarre hybrid of dancing, rhythm action and karaoke on Wii, which has you rocking it with mic and Wiimote. Clearly aimed at the little uns, it's certainly not a game for anyone with a sense of shame. Luckily, that's not something I have to worry about.
Okay, so we're back on the mean streets of LA, and I'm joined by Eurogamer's very own hip-hop superhero of gaming, Matt Martin, who's been playing EA's games, which we're going to talk about now. The Simpsons, I mean, let's be honest, whatever we say about it, you're all going to buy it, and it's going to be Christmas #1. But what did you think of it?
I mean, it's okay. Yeah. It's exactly what you'd expect from a Simpsons game, really. It is quite funny. How long that sort of humour will last, whether it will last throughout the whole game, is sort of questionable. But you know, it seems like they're approaching it with their tongues in their cheeks, and you know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of parody there. They're mocking themselves as much as they're mocking, you know, other games.
Army of Two, big, gritty, macho shooting game, lots of co-op in it. What did you make of that?
I felt like a complete wimp standing next to it, to be honest. I've not got the physique. it's a man's game basically. I've never seen anything so macho in all my life, to be honest. I'm surprised they're not running around in buff shorts.
And there are some, new features in there that we haven't seen. The aggro meter, some quite cool co-op moves. But one thing in particular that they demoed with great relish was the tampon manoeuvre in there. Would you like to talk us through that?
Basically, not really. Basically, you can heal characters using tampons, and it's kind of a mini game. Tap the buttons on time to fill a bullet wound, basically. Quite unpleasant, but we're assured that it's really realistic from, that's what real mercenaries do out in the field.
And before you all start chanting, what about Rock Band and bottle us off the stage, or more likely Peter Moore after his valiant yet doomed effort during the Xbox conference, fear not, as we're tuning up for a very special performance of this potential gaming classic soon. So forget the Spice Girls reunion. When EGTV rocks, it's the hottest ticket in town. More hot gaming action direct from E3 later this week.